holidays with our families. Would you have any thoughts on or tips for families going on holiday?
Yes, if they're with children, if they're small children, think very carefully about where you're going to stay, what kind of holiday you're going to have. I think it's much easier with small children not to travel too far. Long journeys are tiring, both for parents and for children. Young children are better out of searing heat, so think about going perhaps to a British beach, or going over to France, sort of more northern France, where it's not going to be so hot. Otherwise you're worrying all the time about your child getting sunburn,
Yes.
or finding difficulty sleeping at night, and it can affect feeding if it's a small baby. So think very carefully about where you're going to go.
Well, I suppose it's also important to think about the kind of accommodation that we would book with our families, whether we go self-catering, for example. Would you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, personally I would say self-catering is the best, because it offers a lot of flexibility. It means that you can sleep when you want to sleep, you can have breakfast when you want to have breakfast. If you've got very small children, you can pop back, for lunch, and then they can have a nap, so that then they're not going to be fractious, they'll be nicely rested. You just have much more freedom to do as you please, and a holiday should be about that. It should be about having fun, reconnecting, being a family.
Yes, because I suppose sometimes we can overplan these things, can't we? And then that can lead to frustration or disappointment if we...
Well, it's also very stressful. I mean, if you're feeling that you've got this, amazing holiday coming up, and you've got children, then it can be really difficult, because the children don't want to be dragged around all over the place. They want to just probably play and build sandcastles, and or if they're teenagers, they might want to hang around an amusement arcade or something.
Yes, and do you think it's also important to think about the fact that it's a holiday for everybody, and therefore even the parents, I suppose, need some kind of respite from the children occasionally?
Yeah, and that can be difficult. And obviously, if you're self-catering, then probably it's not so easy to have a babysitter. I think if people are going on an organised holiday where there's suitable childcare, and lots of holidays do provide that, then that's something to look at. It really depends on the people. Although it would be nice to think that people could have an actual family holiday. I think too often we sort of see children as, that they kind of, stop us having fun and spoil our holiday. When if we've got children, it's about a family being together and having fun together.
What an important point that is. I suppose it could be an opportunity to actually reconnect and reinvigorate our relationship.
Absolutely, I mean, really is, and that's important for all of us. It affects our health, our well-being. If we are connected with our family and we have a loving relationship, then we will be healthier, happier. Our minds will be healthier too, much less depression around.
Yes, yeah. And I know some families like to go away with other families, and they do that quite regularly. Would you have any advice on that front about going away with another family?
I think that depends. If you've got another family and you really get on well together, and you have similar values, then it can be fine. But I'd say that most families, we're all individuals, and we have different ways of being, and it may be that the other family's children get on your nerves, or there can be a falling out, or you can find that you're compromising too much and that you're not doing the things you'd like to do because the other family don't want to do those things. So I think it can be very stressful. It's something to think about carefully. I'm not saying it won't work, because it will for some people, but I would say please think carefully. Your holiday is a holiday, time to have fun, time to be free of all the constraints we have in our normal working lives.
And that's important, isn't it? Because sometimes holiday can be hard work if we're not careful and we don't think about it too much. So
it's not meant to be work, it's meant to be play, it's meant to be pleasure and freedom. Time for us as adults to reconnect with our childhood as well.
Well, thank you, Diana. I think there are some really great tips there for families. So how would you sum up, and just in a few brief points, what would you say to parents about for advice on going on holidays?
Well, I'd say to parents, you know, talk to one another and see what you'd like to do together, and talk to the children, you know, what feels comfortable. Work it out for yourselves as in your family unit, what you'd like to do, the sort of holidays you'd like to have, and go from there. But I mean, it should be that there's something for everyone, so that everyone enjoys their holiday. No one is going away feeling, I have to do this and I don't really want to do it. It should be that there's time for everyone to have pleasure, but also it is a time to just do some days of nothing. It doesn't have to be action-packed unless that's what you want. You're allowed to just be, and take it in turns to maybe look after the children, so you each get a turn to do that lovely thing of just lying on a beach in the sun or in a field or wherever, but to have a bit of, you know, each partner, each parent gets a bit of me time. I think that would be really good. Remember to look at my YouTube channel. There's lots of other videos out there with good advice.